everyone. Now, I'm pleased to invite Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, Research Director of NIICE, to deliver his welcome remark.
Honorable Chief Guest, former Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. Madhav Nepal, respected high dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to the first CLAWS-NIICE annual dialogue. First of all, I would like to welcome and thank our Chief Guest, former Prime Minister and Senior Leader of Nepal Communist Party, for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion. Sir, it's a very formal program with a little bit of informality. We started with a technical session and then we started with the inaugural. We must apologize for the delay in the first session. We wanted to end it at 3, but it is slightly delayed. I think your presence here is very important. It's not only ceremonial or cosmetic. We had deep desire to welcome you here because you are the one who had the cabinet meeting on the Everest Base Camp. And environment is one of the major non-terrorist security threats. I think one of the 2 major non-terrorist security threats that the world will face, not only Nepal, not only South Asia, the whole world, will be terrorism and environment. Maybe terrorism can be avoided, or we can have mechanisms. Countries are working on that, but I think still we are not very serious about the environment issues. So I have great appreciation for your great work, and that was one of the major reasons that we only thought that we will have you at our event here. I would also like to welcome our Indian delegates from CLAWS and distinguished participants to today's dialogue. The theme of first CLAWS-NIICE annual dialogue is traditional and non-traditional security issues in South Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, let me briefly introduce NIICE, Nepal Institute for International Cooperation and Engagement, is a research think tank registered under the Companies Act 2006 of Nepal, working towards bringing in research excellence in the field of international relations, security, development, and looking for better approaches for enhanced international cooperation and relations for better, peaceful, and stable world. The major research area of NIICE are issues related to security, like we mentioned earlier, strategy, economy, cyber security, climate change, and energy. And I think these are the major issues that Nepal has to deal in coming days. We established it in 2005, and since then we have around a dozen of publications and several events around the world. We had a few in China, India, and Nepal. Security issues in South Asia. We plan to hold such events every year in Kathmandu and New Delhi alternatively. In the present global order, non-traditional security issues are more challenging than the traditional ones, and it's not easy to deal with that. Some of the major non-traditional security issues include, first and most prominent, environmental degradation, including climate security. Second, economic disparities. Third, chronic poverty. Fourth, disease and epidemics. 5, transnational crimes, human trafficking and drugs. 6, migration. 7, energy, water and food security. 8, resource wars. 9, disaster management. It also includes the role of military in disaster relief program. 10, terrorism, and maybe 11, corruption, and few others. Non-traditional issues are often defined in political and socio-economic terms, which cause social and political tensions. In order to deal with non-traditional security issues, we need to have unconventional thinking, which can challenge orthodox understanding, because the 21st century presents new paradigm to security. We will also have enough deliberation on the theme as I look forward for your active participation in today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning. Soon we are going to have such engagement with other reputed Indian think tanks as well as Chinese think tanks. We are going to sign MOU with CLAWS and other Indian think tanks in days to come. We are also working to have collaboration with China Foreign Affairs University, which is funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China, Beijing, maybe early next year. And for this, we need your continued support and encouragement. I once again welcome you all and hope to have a fruitful engagement. Thank you.
Distinguished Fellow CLAWS to introduce CLAWS and give his remarks.
Shri Honorable Shri Madhav Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal, distinguished ladies and gentlemen present here today, very good afternoon and heartiest greetings that I bring along from CLAWS, our institution which is based in India. A short brief about CLAWS, the Center for Land Warfare Studies. Don't take it as only it is land warfare, it is a very broad-based think tank. So I just want to dispel that thought process that we are only traditionally warfare type people, but we think larger issues. CLAWS was established about 15 odd years ago, and it has developed, it has been listed in the University of Pennsylvania listed think tanks globally, which is published. We have come in first 50 in many ways and have come of age. In the course of last 15 years, we have broad-based ourselves into 5 to 6 major clusters which are segregated in many forms, and which is on national security, international security, on area studies, on military technology, on non-traditional threats, on terrorism. So they are varied parts of things, and it's all been subdivided into those clusters to study. So there is a vision that we have enunciated for ourselves to be relevant into policy making fields. Many of these think tanks that come up in times become policy irrelevant. Their inputs are rarely sought by policy makers and practitioners, and whatever is produced is underread. So as a vision for CLAWS, we have endeavored to seek an interaction with the authorities in India, the military, etc., to ask them as to what you require, and we carry out focused research which is fed back into the system for analysis and adaptation as is necessary. So we are a policy relevant think tank, and so we believe. In our development, we have segregated the faculties into 2 parts. There are professionals like Dr. Jyoti Prathania, who is ex-JNU, and so there are professional civilians who provide the academic rigor into the institution. And then there are soldiers, soldiers of the army, largely from the armed forces, who get a sabbatical of say 1 year to 2 years, depending on how much time he has and he wants to devote, and who researches particular subjects as decided by the organization. So like Colonel Rawat, who's going to present in the next session here, going to talk on terrorism. So there are specializations being carried out by colonels who are serving, who get 2 years off from their organization to come and work into CLAWS. So we make a body of about 25, 30 odd professionals into various clusters who produce research and publish it across. And some are not published also because they are classified in nature. So it's a broad-based think tank which has come of age. We have interaction with a large number of other think tanks globally and within India. So for us, NIICE and of all you present here, we wish the beginning that is made today a very fruitful and great success. And thank you very much for the chief guest to honor us today on this great momentous occasion. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Moving further, it is with great honor I would like to request Mr. Madhav Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal, to give his inaugural speech.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, distinguished scholars, dear participants, friends from different quarters, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for hosting such an important conference. The theme of the conference is quite appropriate and timely, and I thank you for your initiative. Dr. Jaiswal, both institution and Shina. I find the conference more significant as it is being organized by the think tanks of Nepal and India. I wish to welcome the Indian participants who have found it convenient to come to Nepal, Kathmandu. I wish them wonderful stay in Kathmandu I hope that other countries of South Asia are also included in such an agreement in future. In the present global order, it is apparent that non-traditional security threats are more challenging than the traditional one. Terrorism has emerged as one of the greatest challenges in the world. The United States, that used to claim as the most secure country in the world, as it was safely located between two great oceans, was attacked by a few terrorists. The incident now being called 9/11. No country in this world at present can claim to be totally free from terrorist threat. South Asia seems more prone to it. Dear participants and friends, Nepal is committed to combat international terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including through the implementation of the global counter-terrorism strategy adopted on 8th September 2006 and the various Security Council resolutions such as Resolution 1373 and 1540. Apart from these, there are many other non-traditional security threats that South Asia faces today. Refugee issue is one of them. Nepal has faced the issue of Bhutanese refugees since the last 3 decades. Bangladesh is dealing with the Rohingya. Similarly, the issue of migration is creating conflicts around the world. Furthermore, South Asia is struggling with many other issues like environmental problems, disaster, economic disparities, energy crisis, and water shortage. There are also disputes related to water sharing among the South Asian countries. Problems of transnational crimes such as human trafficking and drugs are equally important. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, among all these, I personally believe that the most challenging aspect that need global attention are environmental degradation and climate security. The basic reason is that these are matters that have global impact, not only in South Asia. Personally, this is one area that has attracted my mind, and I believe that this is one of the challenging tasks that we have to confront given our sensitive ecology and fragile environment. In 2013, I came with a book, Challenges of Environment. Some of you might have read it. South Asia is more prone to environmental challenges as countries in the region are among the world's greatest carbon emitting countries. As Himalayas are the lifeline of over 1 billion people in South Asia, Nepal is particularly concerned over its larger implications. Between the period of 1977 to 2000, Nepal is said to have experienced an annual increase of 0.006 degrees Celsius, leading to increased risk of glacier outburst. Likewise, flash flood has become more frequent and more destructive throughout the region. Delayed and insufficient rainfall has affected the crop production. This has not only led to the emergence of environmental issues, but also other non-traditional security issues like flood security, resource war, migration, etc. In order to deal with food security in Nepal during my tenure, the government of Nepal had paid special attention to increasing national productivity and production. We included a program for farmers by allocating Nepalese 1 billion grant to improve the productivity. In addition, the government has adopted One Village, One Product program to enhance agricultural production. We have also adopted a policy of promoting agriculture-based cooperatives to fight problems of hunger, poverty, and malnutrition. Dear friends and delegates, when I was the Prime Minister, I took another initiative with a view to drawing attention of international community just before the UN Conference on Climate Change called Copenhagen Summit in December 2009, as has been mentioned by Dr. Pramod Jaiswal. I organized a special cabinet meeting at Kala Pathar. You know the word Kala Pathar, not white pathar. It's a black boulder, black stone. The base camp of the world's highest peak, almost 6,000 meter high. In the highest mountain peak, there is Mount Sagarmatha, or Mount Everest, whatever you say. I recall another of our South Asian neighbors, the Maldives, where I have visited there and met with the then the president who has organized such a cabinet meeting under the water. Organized cabinet meeting under the sea to highlight its specific problems. But that was not so deep. I was thinking that it may be much more deep there. It was in swallowed land only. But here there was no such place, high altitude, 6,000 meter high. Nepal has hosted a high-level regional conference on climate change, with focus on the Himalayan region in order to highlight the seriousness of the problem of global warming and its impact with a 10-point understanding. I would like to mention another issue to draw your attention. When I participated in the Copenhagen Summit, I realized that the world's attention is not on the mountainous countries' problems. Their attention has been focused on the island countries' problem only. And the next, their attention was on the coastal countries' problems only, countries along the seas. But the problem starts from the high mountains, and there were no such initiative from any other institutional or any other countries to draw the attention of the world that look, the snows are melting, the mountains are going to be from white to black, and the level of the sea is rising, leading to the vanishing of the island countries. That's why I called for a formation of the Alliance of Mountainous Countries. An alliance of mountainous countries, which are almost 56 in number, and mentioned that there is a need to have such gathering, sitting together, talking about the common problems we have been facing there. And that's why one meeting was organized in Kathmandu, though the plan was to have a high-level summit meeting of prime ministers and the presidents, but the initiative was being taken by me from the ministerial level meeting. So Nepal hosted a high-level regional conference that was a mountainous one, organized with the focus on the Himalayan region in order to highlight the seriousness of the problem. During my premiership, we called on developed countries to abide by their existing commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emission as already agreed within the framework of the Kyoto Protocol. I also shared the following proposition during the Climate Change Conference in Copenhagen 2009 December past. Gender-sensitive sustainable development and poverty alleviation is foremost priority in dealing with climate change issues. Consideration for the planet's future with awareness of common but differentiated responsibilities. Fourth, prioritization of LDCs and most vulnerable countries with very less capacities to withstand the adverse impact of climate change. 5. Long-term substantially enhanced financing of direct and easy access to resources and technology existing within an institutional framework and governance that caters to the interests and concerns of least developed countries. Dear participants and friends, Nepal, as it is located between two economic giants and decidedly the highest carbon emitting countries, have grave environmental risks. If Nepal fails to deal with it on time, it will not only hasten melting of our glaciers, it will have other grave consequences. In order to conserve our environment, I would also like to emphasize the following, which I have stressed during my previous year. First, make compulsory arrangement for at least one green area, government and semi-government offices and in areas surrounding community buildings. Third, launch a plantation campaign along highways, link roads, canals and banks of rivers. Fourth, plant trees and greenery on barren land and on areas where rivers have deposited sedimentation. 5. Promote beautification of each settlement by extending greenery and planting trees on the compound of each household or buildings. 6. Engage each individual, students, youth and different organizations in promotion of plantation as a compulsory campaign each year. 7. Ensure dense plantation on the premises of government quarters, housing areas, factories, big hotels and resorts. If we fail to manage our environmental issues, we are bound to face natural disasters. Earthquakes and floods have been the biggest hazards in terms of mortality, scale of affected population and economic losses as far as Nepal is concerned. The earthquake of April 2015 of Nepal killed 9,000 people and injured 22,000. The total damage was estimated to be $10 billion. Being a least developed country, Nepal faces several challenges in the areas of disaster risk reduction. For instance, public schools in Nepal and children attendance always face serious risk of earthquakes. Most of our hospitals are highly vulnerable to earthquakes as existing facilities are inadequate to respond to disaster emergencies. Nepal is struggling to rehabilitate the infrastructures damaged or affected during 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish this conference all the success and hope this platform which we have created and this dialogue which has been going on will come out with practical recommendations that can help us in resolving these emerging issues. I wish all the success, wish you wonderful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful remark. As sir said, South Asia is more prone to environment challenge and degradation, which not only has impact on Nepal, but has a global impact, and is a very challenging task. Youth being the next foundation of the world, it's time for youths to wake up and focus on three dimensions, as sir said, which is multination of environment, good internal management, and education extends in making the environment more friendly, safe, and beautiful for our future. Now, moving further, ladies and gentlemen, may I request CLAWS-NIICE to sign a MOU. So may I please request Dr. Jyoti Pathania, Chairman, CLAWS Outreach Committee, and Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, Research Director of NIICE, to kindly come for the MOU signing ceremony. request Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, Research Director of NIICE, to hand over the token of love to our chief guest, Mr. Madhav Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister of Nepal. General Rakesh Sharma to hand over the NIICE publication to our chief guest. Sumitra Karki, Program Coordinator of NIICE, to give her vote of thanks.
Chief guest Mr. Madhav Kumar Nepal, respected high dignitaries, distinguished guests, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the first CLAWS-NIICE annual dialogue. First of all, I, on behalf of Nepal Institute for International Cooperation and Engagement, would like to extend our gratitude to former Prime Minister and senior leader of Nepal Communist Party, Mr. Madhav Kumar Nepal, for his glorious presence. We are thankful for his encouragement and support. I would also like to express my sincere appreciations to our delegates from CLAWS, New Delhi. Without their continuous support, it would not have been possible. We wish to work with you in future and believe that we will continue to engage in coming days. I would also like to appreciate all the chairs for successfully conducting the technical sessions. Similarly, I would like to sincerely thank all our distinguished speakers for their wonderful presentations. Finally, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our media partner, Novel Business Review, friends from media, MC, volunteers and distinguished guests for their kind presence. We are truly honored to have you all here. Thank you.
Ms. Karki, for your valuable remark. Moving on, I would like to request all the speaker and chief guests to join us for the group photo.